On the campus of Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge for tonight's continuing SEC gymnastics action. This one features a pair of Tigers ready to battle. Number 6 LSU versus number 8 Auburn. I'm Bart Connor calling the action today along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Laura Rutledge. It is well known in the SEC that LSU is tough to beat in the PMAC. How tough are they? Well, look at this. Since going back to the start of the 2014 season, they are 19-0. Undefeated the last 2 years in the PMAC under the leadership of Dee Dee Bro.
Boy, if you look at the LSU's consistency in meets, they are all over the map, but perhaps they are due for a breakout meet. When you look at the pieces, the individual talent and gymnastics they can put into play, it's all there, like this double twisting Yurchenko by Ashley Natt. And Sarah Finnegan, an exquisitely trained gymnast who throws difficult skills, very unique, like this triple wolf turn. And Maya Hambrick, who's really stepped up into the all-around and sprinkles her difficulty throughout all 4 events.
And Auburn has been steadily improving over the last 7 years under the leadership of Jeff Graba. Well, last week, they enjoyed an epic moment in the history of Auburn gymnastics as they beat in-state SEC rival Alabama for the first time in 37 years.
And it was amazing, Bart. The energy and enthusiasm of the crowd truly had an impact, really, on the outcome of the meet, and nothing excites an audience more than high-flying skills and perfectly stuck landings, which is what Auburn did all night long on the way to a truly memorable moment and historical for this young team.
A win by 25 thousandths of a point. So the question tonight, can Auburn carry that streak-breaking momentum into this tough road test against number 6 LSU? LSU, the home team, will open up on the vault. You see the lineup there. Ashley Natt is a superstar, and we'll be talking a lot about her tonight. One of the few gymnasts in the country doing that double twisting Yurchenko. It's exciting, and she scored perfect 10s twice this year.
And LSU has always been known for their high-flying vaults and the level of difficulty. Now, if they can come up with better landings than they've done thus far this season, they'll be off to a great start.
The visiting Auburn Tigers will open up on the uneven bars, and as true to dual meet competition, we open up on the vault with the host team. Juliana Canamella coming up, the freshman.
And she's a terrific talent that they've brought on this LSU team. She's contributing immediately. Great start for LSU. Not quite a stuck landing, but a really pretty vault in the air. Nice execution, nice laid out straight body position.
This young lady's a 5-time Junior Olympic national qualifier. Worked her way into the lineup. Back over to the bars now. You see the lineup there for Auburn.
Samantha Serio has stepped into this situation to lead off the uneven bars for Auburn. She stepped in when Emma Engler went down with a knee injury 2 meets ago.
Serio, the freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina, was coached by Christy Phillips, a former U.S. national team member a few years back. First 2 performers for Auburn on the bars are freshmen.
You can see Kurt Hettinger, the bar coach, step in just to keep his eyes on the dismount right here. Full turn in the pirouette and right to a tuck double back. Had to check the landing on that. It's almost like her legs gave way. I talked to the coaches. They actually said they were a little bit tired. No surprise there.
Here we are about 2/3 the way through the regular season, and Auburn had that historic moment last week, and that will be the question mark. Can they carry that momentum into this competition tonight against a very ready LSU team who, as you said, Kathy, is really looking for that breakout moment? Sydney Ewing, the junior from Lafayette, Louisiana, will be next to go.
We'll see Sydney on 3 events. She throws a lot of difficulty, particularly on this event, vault, and on balance beam.
Traditionally, vault has been a spectacular event for LSU. Of course, we must remind the audience that they're competing without some superstars that they had the last couple of years, people like Reagan Corville and Jessie Jordan, who were just, consistent 9-9 plus on every event.
Absolutely. So the judges had a conference on that first vault. Little question in terms of the score.
9.75, the opening score for Juliana Connemela. Sydney Ewing now, the junior, set to go in the second spot.
And she does a 1.5 here, so look for the landing to face away from the table.
Three-time All-American, currently 7th in the country on this event.
Very, very nicely done. Still looking for that landing, but pretty in the air. And of course, this vault is scored from a 10.0. They devalued the full that we saw from the first competitor up to a 9.995.
We'll go back to the bars for Auburn. Samantha Serio had a 9.825, great score in that leadoff roll. Taylor Krippner will be next, the freshman from Cypress, Texas. She's from the same club as Caitlin Atkinson, one of the superstars at the Auburn Tigers.
Now this is an event where Auburn started the season very strong. They're a well-oiled machine on this event. From the warm-up right through the competition, they've been very consistent. They don't do huge difficulty, but they do plenty of it. Not quite getting the landings. That was a half in, half out on the dismount. Showed much more difficulty than her teammate who led off by finishing with a full twisting double back.
Take a look at the rules for dual meet competition. 6 gymnasts per team will compete in each event. The best 5 scores count. The lowest is dropped from each event towards the team total. After all 4 apparatus, the team with the highest cumulative score wins, and the home team does vault, bars, beam, and floor, and the away team does the reverse of that. Sarah Finnegan, boy, she has really burst onto the scene, the young freshman.
Yeah, baby! Came off of a very good elite career, and it's carrying over right into collegiate gymnastics.
There's
What
a
a
young
great
lady
landing.
Was, alternate to the 2012 Olympic team, and even though she's a freshman, that landing showed a lot of maturity, didn't it?
Absolutely, because she had to work it. There was a little bit of a deep knee bend, but she handled it well and didn't move the feet at all. Dee Bro loves it.
Next for Auburn,
Kelsey Kopech will be next up, the junior from Alpharetta, Georgia. 9.775 is a score for Taylor Krippner.
And Kelsey's a bar specialist. She did step into vault in the last competition for the Tigers. But this is her event, and they really expect big numbers from her. Ooh, a little bit form issues.
Coaches said she is so tall that if she misses a handstand, it's quite obvious to the judges.
She definitely missed a couple handstands slightly in that routine, but she fought from start to finish. Here's her release move. Loses a little bit of form deductions, and then on the shootout was just a little rough on that transition.
Of course, as you mentioned, one of the reasons Auburn was so good last week against Alabama was they were sticking all their landings.
Every single one of them.
Senior Randy Wyrick will be next to go. Sarah Finnegan had a career-high 9.875, and before her, Sydney Ewing a 9.825.
This is a Yurchenko half twist. It's worth the same as the Yurchenko full. A little hop on that landing. You really spot the mat in the layout position, and then a half turn. It's a blind landing, making it a little bit more difficult. You really have to feel your way through this vault to find the landing.
Kate Clues will be next up for Auburn on the bars.
Auburn bar score for Kelsey Kopech.
An average of 9.832 puts her 14th in the SEC, which is one of the strongest conferences in women's gymnastics, without question.
And Kate is really a steady as she goes gymnast. Very, very consistent. Nice big air on her release move.
Kelsey Kopech before her had a 9.8.
Much better job on the handstands in this routine. Really sharp so far. Oh, a little short short on that last handstand. Seeing a few fatigue errors is what I'm seeing. Double layout, way to fight for the landing. Not quite perfect, but much better. Nice height above the bar, a little bit close on the regress. You really want to see them turn that over and reach for the bar to make the regress. Double layout, little leg separation in the giant, but all in all, a pretty good routine.
We'll go back to vault. Maya Hambrick, the sophomore from Temple, Georgia. Randy Wyrick before her had a 9.875, so the stage is set for two huge vaults now.
Absolutely, and this can be a beauty. She has really nice block, nice flare, opens up after the full with the arms out to the side. Not a perfect landing, but oh so close.
She gets high fives from Bob Moore in his 17th season. He's a specialist coaching vault, and he knows it's a good one.
Absolutely, just a little scoot back on the landing.
On bars for Auburn, Kate Clues had a 9.875. That's her senior season high. Abby Millay now, sophomore from Denton, Texas, set to go in the 5th spot.
And this routine has two big release moves in. The strength of the routine is all in the first 7/8 of the routine. Here's the first one after the toe-on, array, beautifully done. Notice how she turns over on that release move and reaches out, goes right into the pack salto. Very nice level of difficulty here. Tiny bit short on the last handstand. Again, just a little bit of fatigue errors. Full pirouette into a tuck double back. She fought for that landing and got it. Toe on reverse hex. Really nice, turning it over, reaching out to make the regrasp. And the dismount, a very simple tuck double back, but boy, did she fight so hard to not move the feet.
Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, Laura Rutledge.
Bart, Ashley Nat doesn't think about anything before this double twisting Yurchenko, and her teammates were laughing at her when she was telling me this, but she tells herself to stretch and squeeze. She looks at the mat 3 times, and then she's ready to go, and she's off to the races. But it's all about not thinking, and that's how she's able to do this vault.
And she is off to the races. Watch the speed on her run. Bam!
Whoa!
I love that vault. She is as quick as a cat in the air. She does this vault so effortlessly. 2 twists, sees the landing.
It's interesting because this year some gymnasts are stepping up to do a 1.5, but a double twist is actually easier for her than
Absolutely.
a 1.5 twister.
She does this so much better than her full, better than her 1.5, and she's had an uncanny way of sticking it thus far this season.
Maya Hambrick before her had a 9.9, so they're going to be expecting a big score over there as we go to Caitlin Atkinson, the senior from Houston, Texas. She is outstanding on all 4 events, 9.9 plus on all 4 events last week, in fact, against Alabama.
So far, so good in this routine. Here's her release move.
Oh!
No. I could tell on when she released, it was just a strange release point into the release move. Couldn't turn it over at all.
Before her, Abby Millay had a 9.875, so there has not yet been a 9.9 for Auburn on the bars. So this is a very big missed opportunity for the Tigers.
A missed opportunity. They can drop a low score, which obviously this one will be the one they drop. She'll get up and do the dismount, which is a big one. It's a beauty, but took a step on the landing. You're right, Bart. Definitely a missed opportunity because that's a score they usually count on to be huge. It just was an odd release point. Rushed and then just couldn't turn it over and reach for that bar. But boy, I love this dismount. Very few people do that dismount as well.
All right, when we come back, you see the scores there. LSU with a lead of 1/10 of a point after the first of 4 rotations. Incredible night of gymnastics. Don't go away. More excitement from the PMAC in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Friday Night Heights continues from the PMAC in Baton Rouge after the first rotation. Now that all the scores are in, LSU, a season-high 49-45 on vault, holds a lead of 0.3 of a point over the visiting Auburn Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Connor, along with my fellow Olympian, Kathy Johnson-Clark, and your reactions after that first rotation.
Well, we talked before the competition that the big question was going to be, how could Auburn, this very young team, come off that extreme high?
Right.
I mean, you're talking 36 years. They broke that streak of losing to Alabama. I see fatigue, and that's exactly what we saw on the uneven bars. They can regroup, and they just need to be normal and go out and hit the rest of the routines.
Now, LSU has been poised for this competition because, as you said at the top of the show, this might be the meet where they get it all together for the first time this year.
What made LSU so special in previous years was they believed they were a team of destiny. They trained like one, they competed like one, all the way to the semifinals at Nationals last year. They need to now take that next step and be bold and believe in themselves and go out and compete like the championship team they want to be. One
of the reasons LSU is so spectacular is their explosive power. Let's take a look at their vault performances here. In particular, Ashley Knapp, who has scored perfect tens twice this year.
This is Maya Hambrick doing the full. Notice the height she has, and she does a beautiful full. Here comes Ashley Knapp. She's a little bit higher, but then she cranks it and wraps those two twists. She is so quick in the air and so kinesthetically aware that she makes it look easy.
She got a 9.975 to wrap up that first rotation for LSU. So rotation 2 will be coming up when we come back, and that includes, of course, 2015 All-American on the uneven bars, Shea Zamardi from LSU. We're glad you've joined us. Competition continues when we come back to Baton Rouge.
Back here in Baton Rouge, LSU on top of Auburn after one rotation. I'm Laura Rutledge, and this was quite the week for Auburn, coming off a huge win over Alabama. Jeff Graba said they turned into instant celebrities, instant rock stars, and it turns out that celebrity was far-reaching. Cullen Lowick told me that her parents, Tom and Rochelle, were in the airport, and they got recognized by some fans wearing Auburn gymnastics gear. The fans wanted to come up and talk to even them. So professors calling them out in class, people talking to them all over campus. It's been a fun week. Now, Alexis Demers said she even got some tweets from people asking to be her Valentine, but she did regretfully decline. Now, Alexis also said that this week in practice was about staying focused and trying to really figure out where their depth is. She saw some people step up, and one of those gymnasts was Sarah Garcia, who will lead off vault for Auburn here, and it's her first time competing. She's been the alternate in every event for this Auburn team. She's trained every event, but she's never gotten the chance to compete. This means so much to her and so much to her team, because she's consistently trained to show this team that she's ready to go for them and they can always rely on her. Now she gets her shot right here, Bart.
Sarah Garcia, sophomore from Temecula, California. First competitive routine for Auburn.
Oh, a little bit low on the landing, really had to pike down hard to get around, but for the first time out, the team is so excited for this gymnast who worked so hard to get into the line. She was almost off the end of the board there, so she probably was just a little amped going into her first competitive vault, overran the board slightly, and then had to make adjustments.
A couple of big injuries for Auburn have opened the door for Garcia to perform. Emma Engler, torn ACL, and Miracle Phillips had a foot injury earlier this year, so they don't have as much depth there as they'd like, but Garcia did a nice job. Jessica Savona, a senior, six-time Canadian national team member, will lead off LSU on the bars.
She opens this routine with that combination that fulfills the requirement, doing 2 D-release moves. She does that instead of performing the big single bar release move. They took that out this meet to see if she could clean everything up and score bigger. Let's see what the judges do with it. Nailed the double layout.
This is an event that LSU says they don't have quite a lot of depth, and they're missing Lexi Priestman, who broke her foot last week.
Coach Jay Clark was pretty pleased with that.
Associate head coach here, formerly at Georgia for many years, Taylor Krippner. Freshman from Cyprus, set to go. Sarah Garcia, 9.725, so a respectable job for her first counting score for the Auburn Tigers in her career.
Now Taylor will just go big on this vault and let the landing take care of itself. It's usually a better vault, not bad. Sometimes you get ahead of yourself, you really start thinking about that landing, and the vault does not go big enough. Had an angle in her shoulders as she made contact with the table, really makes it difficult to get a great block. But look at the support from teammates. That's what college gymnastics is all about.
Maya Hambrick set to go now for LSU on the bars. Jessica Savona, a 9.85. That's a season high for her in the leadoff role.
And I cannot say enough about this gymnast. She is so improved. Always had great gymnastics, but she has an air of confidence about her in competition that's really extraordinary.
Dee Bro thinks she's been a little underappreciated by the judges, so looking for a big score here tonight.
Everything's been great, so that last handstand was just a touch short.
Oh!
But a gorgeous dismount, and there is the first true stick of the night. Nice to see it come to a young lady who works so hard, very disciplined in her work. That was just a tiny bit short, but she did a nice job of blocking it out and really showing it before she started swinging down. Knees locked together, tight as could be. Very well done.
Over on vault, Kate Clues will be next. Taylor Krippner had a 9.8.
Now she usually does a 1.5. She's going to do a full here. Warm-ups did not go well enough. They played it safe, and it was wise.
She was quite sick in the fall, missed some training time, some stomach issues, so good to see her getting back to near full strength. Laura's got a report on Juliana.
That's right, Bart. And Juliana struggled a little bit in warm-ups. Jade Clark and Dee Bro really challenging her, saying they want to see more out of her. She needs to be confident. She needs to work hard. They don't want to see her let this go, and they're telling her to go after the bars. Don't let the bars come to you.
By the way, Maya Hambrick had that 9.925. That's a career high in that second spot for LSU.
Juliana has really pretty lines on this event. Gorgeous position in the hands. Oh, that's too bad. First, I thought it was just going to be a lack of form. Feet kind of flexed on the release move, but she was not in position to make the regress. That's 0.5 of a point off for the fall.
So both teams so far have had one fall from the bars. Caitlin Atkinson fell for Auburn. Juliana Canamella as well.
Nice half pin, half out. Boy, she finished the routine strong. What a shame to miss the release move. Let's see exactly what happened here. Just rushed it a little bit. This was really a thing of beauty. Look how tightly she holds the knees together. Toes are pointed. Beautiful form, but disappointment for missing the release move.
Lexus Demers, the senior from Minnesota, will be set to go now for Auburn on the vault. Kate Clues before her, a 9.825.
And this can be a very, very clean vault. She only goes for stick in competition. She's got a sore ankle, so she saves it for the meet. Let's see if she gets it. Almost.
We saw her land their tumbling runs in the warm-up, and she looked like she's got some sore ankles.
Yes, and she usually intentionally steps back out of her landings in practice and in warm-ups to save that ankle for when it counts.
She's known as a gamer for the Auburn Tigers, however. Randy Wyrick. You see her score last week, a low 9.225. So with the fall now from Juliana Canamella, little extra pressure on LSU because remember, 6 athletes compete. Just the top 5 scores count towards the team total.
Randy had an injury to her thumb earlier in the season and just came back a little too soon on this event, missed the routine. So this is an opportunity to not only hit the routine, but get her confidence back. Beautiful full pirouette right on top of the bar. Goes directly into her release move. That's a nice combination. Just a little bit of form deduction on the release move. Other than that, she's swinging really smoothly. Gary Clark is trying to get them not to rush those kips so that they really take their time, finish it, and hit that handstand. Double layout, much better routine by this young lady.
Coach Dee Dee Brill thought she put her in the lineup perhaps a little too early. She was coming back from that thumb injury. That's why she had trouble last week, but a nice job there for the LSU Tigers. Juliana Conamella only a 9.15, so the score for Wyrick will be really important. Lexus Demers had a 9.85. MJ Rote set to go.
And she has a very powerful vault from the run all the way through. The execution of the vault, great landing. I think if we see it from the side, her chest was probably a little low on the landing, so they'll take a little deduction there. Let's see if that's the case. Yep. She didn't move her feet, but they will hit her for the low chest on the landing.
2015, she had Achilles issues, so she had an extra mat there for her landing on vault. Randy Wyrick had a 9.8. Sarah Finnegan now.
This is an excellent bar routine. Good difficulty from the toe on a reverse tech right here. Transitions to the low bar to a nice handstand. Very pretty form, beautiful toe point. She's got that elite form, nice straight body in her handstand. Double layout.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and she just rode that elevator down on the landing. No movement of the feet.
2 very smart landings so far today for Sarah Finnegan.
Even kept her toes pointed on the release move. A lot of gymnasts give a little flex there on that release move. Legs glued together on the double layout. A little too much bend on the landing, but you know what? When you don't give up anything in movement, it's a good trade-off.
Caitlin Atkinson now, see if she can recover from the fall on the bars. MJ Rote before her a 9.85, so no score in the 9.9 range yet for Auburn.
This is one of the true blockers. Notice the lift she gets off the table. Really sets up that 1.5 twist that will be scored from a 10.0. She really gets the arms back, gets a much straighter body position as she makes contact with the table and gets nice lift into the 1.5.
The score is in for Sarah Finnegan, the freshman from Lee Summit, Missouri, a 9.9. That's a career high, and that brings up 2015 first-team All-American on this event, Shea Zamardi, the junior from British Columbia.
And it's nice to see a different set of elements on this event right here. Tolan Chapash. Here's a nice release move too. It's called a Markelov. Oh, nope, she doesn't do it. Yep, right there. Just wake the judges up. Do a little something different up there and then finish strong with an Arabian double front. It's different from start to finish. The dismount is different than most of the other gymnasts are doing. Her release move is different. There's the Markelov. You launch yourself forward over the bar, then a half turn. And the dismount, half turn, then double front, and a very good landing.
All right, Laura has Coach Graba.
Thanks, Bart. And Coach, coming off of last week's win, you wanted to ride some momentum into this week. How have they handled it so far?
Oh, I don't think we've done a great job yet. We're not really sharp right now, but it looks like we're pressing. We're trying a little too hard, so we'll see. Floor's a good event for us usually, so maybe we can let it all hang out and have some fun out there.
How do you alleviate some of that pressure and limit the pressing when you head into floor?
Well, I think the girls are doing a good job trying to remind each other to loosen up and have fun with it. You know, sometimes you just gotta leave what you just did behind, move to the next event, and let it go, so to speak. So we'll see. I think we'll be pretty good on floor.
Thanks, Coach Bart. We're all moving to the next event, aren't we?
Oh, that's right. We're headed to the third of 4 rotations. By the way, on bars, the last 2 scores, Sarah Finnegan and Shea Zamardi, both 9-9s were career highs, so they replaced the 9-1-5 for Juliana Conamella, by the way. So here are the scores after the second rotation. Coming up, we'll follow the story of Ivy and Zach through swoon, brought to you by Bell.
Beating Alabama and breaking the 117 winning streak against them is a big deal because it shows us that we are a good team.
It's been really exciting, you know, just walking around on campus or being anywhere in Auburn and just have random people come up to you and congratulate you, you know, getting called out in class, like congrats to Auburn Gymnastics.
I wanted to get to the point with this program where we could compete toe-to-toe against a program of that caliber and hold up under the pressure and actually win once in a while. And to me, that's what it means, is that we've risen to that level where we can go toe-to-toe with anything.
Certainly a defining moment for Coach Jeff Graba and for the Auburn Tigers last week. 117 meetings with Alabama, and they finally ended up on top. Now, Coach Graba has been mic'd up during this competition. He's usually a pretty cool character on the sideline. Let's see what he has to say.
That's a good job. Good job. Good fight. A little tight on that. Hey, that was still really good, okay? Let's not let that stuff get to us. Let's move to the next step, all right? Energy on vault. Big vault. Go nice and tall across the top. And let's that thing bounce it back, both feet. Very good, very good. I mean, you got better vaults than that, but it's good to get over the hump.
All right, Auburn will go to the floor where the explosive Caitlin Atkinson will perform. And boy, what a moment she delivered with a 9.925 last week to clinch the win over Alabama. We'll see her when we come back. Friday Night Heights continues here from the PMAC. Nearly 10,000 people on hand tonight here in Baton Rouge, and we have a great one. Number 6 Auburn with a 98.375. The hosts, number 6 LSU, 98.825. In fact, LSU, both on vault and bars, has season high scores on those first 2 events. So this is their highest score through 2 rotations this season. The question mark at the top of the show was, could they finally get on track? It looks like it's happening, but of course, they have to go to beam.
Yes, and I love their first 2 routines up. They are sensational in terms of just their natural ability on balance beam to perform. There are some people that are just natural beamers.
Erin McAdag, the sophomore from Redwood City, California.
And she really is on an upward trend on this event. Love how she keeps this routine moving. Oh.
Coach Dee Dee Brosas is one of our leaders, so we'd like to have her in a lead-off position. Coach Bro said last week versus Georgia, she thought it was her best routine in competition ever.
Watch how she performs this event. It is so incredible, really. She's not just doing beats, she's performing it. Head lifts up, she emphasizes the poses, keeps everything moving though, shows a very high level of difficulty as well in her leaps, her jumps. She really shows it all. A lot of poise and great polish. Nice job. Gave up just a little bit on that one leap series, was slightly off kilter on the landing, but other than that, very nice job.
She does exude a lot of confidence in that lead-off position for sure. For Auburn on the floor, where they're ranked 10th in the country. Abby Millay will be their lead-off performer, the sophomore from Denton, Texas. You see, they finish off with 3 seniors in the lineup. This is a very powerful event for the Tigers.
And the highlights of this routine will be found in the choreography and dance skills. She's quite lovely.
LSU's lead over Auburn coming into this rotation is just a little under half a point, 45/100ths.
Gorgeous positions in the air, the poses. A little bit of bounce on the landing.
This is a young lady that Coach Gravis says he'd really like to work her in the lineup in the all-around, hopefully, eventually. She normally contributes on bars and beam, but because of their recent injuries, she is stepping up here quite well.
We talked at one point about how big some gymnasts move and perform. She really does things all out, full energy. Oh! That is fatigue, plain and simple. I saw it a little bit early in the routine, and this is the event we're going to see it on. They got to really fight through and try to find the energy. This point in the season, everyone's getting a little bit tired, but she just mistimed the punch in between the two skills, but also ran out of gas.
Laura, you have something on Maya Hambrick.
Bart, Maya Hambrick says she's a completely different gymnast this year as opposed to last year. She's developed this quiet confidence because last year it felt like everything was riding on every single skill. Now she's got this ability to just let it go the way it's going to go. And she said that she's really learned that she can bring so much more to the table. The consistency is what she's worked on, and she feels very comfortable with where she is at this point.
I love the comfortable rhythm of this routine. As you mentioned, Laura, the confidence is just so evident on every step. Forget every skill, every step. The breathing is even incorporated in the routine and makes it so easy to watch. You don't get that stressful feeling like you get sometimes when you watch somebody who is not completely comfortable in the routine.
Coach Bro says they've changed the routine construction a little bit by putting those series later in the routine. Normally, you do it earlier.
That's risky, and I love it. They're trying to spread that difficulty because that is an area in the judging. They really want to see the difficulty spread throughout the routine, not packed in one part. Here comes the dismount. She does a double twist. Beautifully done in the air, and a great landing. That's an excellent beam routine.
A great 1-2 start. Erin McAdag had a 9.775. Expect a good score there.
This could be a huge key to the success of their team. These 1-2 first competitors on balance beam are outstanding.
LSU having a great night, and they can feel it. Abby Millay back over on floor, by the way, had a 9.3, so a little extra pressure on Colin Lowick, the junior from Texas.
Cullen has done beam and floor all season long. She opened up the season strong and has steadily improved. Arabian double front. Oh, instant smile on the landing. It's a very high energy routine. Each one of those little hops on the landing are little reductions. Just to work really hard on locking the legs out. Sometimes they're not fully straight, especially when you're showing off a picture in the air in that lead. Really got to strive for those positions. So much concentration going into this final landing. Strong routine. Definitely needed that. Good comeback. Get them back on a roll. Try to build some momentum from this point forward.
The score in for Maya Hambrick, an impressive 9.9. So Juliana Canamella now. Interesting position.
Coming off a fall on the uneven bars, but this is an opportunity to get up, regain some confidence. This is the kind of thing that really prepares you for the postseason. It's hard to create the kind of stress you will feel in a championship meet.
Talking to Coach Bro this week, she said, I think maybe beam is our best event. She said, I love to see that our gymnasts are starting to own it. And she said she's really interested to see how they respond against a really hot team like Auburn is.
I'm not surprised, and so many of the teams are struggling a little bit this season on balance beam. But this is a great advantage to have when you create this kind of comfort in your lineup on this event. Good for her. Nice comeback. 1.5 twist. Another blind landing. Handles it this time. Well done.
We'll go back to the floor for Auburn. Colin Lowick, by the way, a 9.875. That's a season high for her. MJ Rote is normally a young lady who can bring the house down. Of course, that happens at Auburn when there's nearly 9,000 people with her with every move. She's fun to watch, entertaining, and extremely explosive.
She's a good performer. Got a lot of bounce in her tumbling. Getting better at controlling the landings. Double layout. Coaches are always telling their athletes, create the energy on the sidelines, especially when you're at an away meet. Of course, this young team is trying to find their way back into the Super 6 finals as they did last year. Everyone was so excited for this team.
First time in 22 years that they made it to the Super 6 final at the NCAA championships, and they have literally in the last 7 years gone from, I would say, Tier 2 in the SEC to legitimate Tier 1. And it validated that by beating Alabama last week in a historic win.
Good close with the double back. In pike position. Very, very well done. One of the best landings I've seen. Good for her. It's interesting, Coach Gray, but first thing he said, he let it soak in for about 2 minutes last week, and then he said, we got to focus again on postseason. It's been all about postseason all season long. I don't want that to change now just because we did the unbelievable.
His point was, you know, this doesn't help us in postseason. It's great for our fans. It's great for our pride. It's a memory we'll take back with us for the rest of our lives. But guess what? We got to keep going, team. Sydney Ewing will be set up to go now for LSU. And Juliana Canamella, a 9.775. So the high score for LSU on beam is Maya Hambrick's 9.9, and there's two 9.775s.
They're in a very good place here. Sydney performs a back handspring layout to 2 feet, one of the only ones in this competition. A little bit of a long pause there. Nicely done, though. That was perfectly straight. Square shoulders, square hips, right over the beam. I keep saying this, but the calm I see with this team on this event, doing difficulty like this, they do extra. That standing back layout step out into a straddle jump after she's performed a more difficult series earlier in the routine. It's just bonus. Even though all the routines are still worth a 10.0. In the back of the minds of the judges, this is a more difficult routine. Oh, whoa, she pulled that off. She was almost off the end of the beam. You heard?
She stuck it.
We both jumped. She got just enough of that beam to get the dismount off. This was absolutely beautiful, perfectly in line and much higher than I've seen her do. Standing layout step out to the straddle jump with a quarter twist. And she almost went off the end of the beam, but had her toe just enough on to get a good block and a nice 1.5
That's
twist.
talent when you're that close to disaster and yet still nail the landing. Well done. MJ Rope, by the way, had a 9.9 for Auburn on the floor, and that brings up Kate Clues.
Kate is known for her high tumbling. She really gets up in the air. Full in a little bit lower than usual. Keep in mind, on vault, she opted to do a full twist instead of the 1.5. I think they're just feeling a little bit of fatigue in the legs, especially these leg events. Because these athletes are performing at such a high level and with smiles on their faces, I think people forget how challenging weekend after weekend these competitions are on their energy reserve.
True, when you compare with elite gymnastics where they compete 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a year maximum. These young ladies are doing a full regular season, you know, at least a dozen competitions or more, and then the postseason.
Closes the routine, tuck double back. Normally that is much higher. She pulled it. She pulled it out though, good for her. When you come up with a routine like this, feeling a little tired, this all just goes into your back pocket to take with you into postseason. It shows you're tough. She had to work really, really hard to get it all the way around. Tried to get her chest up. They'll take a little deduction for a low chest landing.
All right, let's go down to Laura.
Bart, Ashley Nat said these freshmen for LSU don't even know how good they are. Sarah Finnegan being one of those. Nat said her role on this team is to remind these freshmen that they have earned their spots in this lineup and that they are extremely talented. She said it's been interesting to keep their confidence up throughout this season, and she's so impressed by what she sees from Sarah Finnegan, especially on beam.
Here's her triple wolf. She does it so well in practice and finally hit a big one in a meet. Good for her. She hit it in the first meet of the season, then had a couple meets where she had trouble with it. Layout step out. Almost a split second of doubt there, but she fought it. Very nice leap series until the landing. She didn't quite get it all the way around. Good fight on that side summy. You can see just a little bit more tension in her presence, in her demeanor, but she pulled this one off, and she has such lovely technique on the skills in the routine. She's going to be a great collegiate gymnastics. She's got to get used to competing weekend after weekend, but look at this. 1, 2, 3. That's one of those skills where I look at it and go, I could never do that, ever. Aerial cartwheel to the full twist. And she's 3 for 3 on landings.
Coach Dee Dee Bro liking what she's seeing today, hoping this is the meet where her team gets on track. Alexis Demers now. Kate Clues, by the way, before her a 9.85. So after the mistake from Abby Millay of a 9.3, they've had a 9.85, 9.875, and a 9.9. Good response.
And most of the gymnasts on the Auburn team open their routines with these big E skills, like that full in.
It's really interesting when the gymnasts are at away meets. They know that there's not 10,000 people cheering for them, so they often perform for their teammates who are just on the sideline as if it's a practice session and they're just trying to entertain a dozen of their teammates.
bit low on that last leap. Tired. This is when gravity really wreaks havoc on you. You got to work really hard to get up in the air. Pike double back. Good job. They're actually handling this really, really well. As I said, we know that they're a little bit tired, but they're working through it, coming up with some good landings here on floor exercise.
And her fitness paid off at the end of that routine, for sure. Look at LSU. 9-9 for Maya Hamrick. So far, the low score, 9-7-7-5. Ashley Knapp is becoming comfortable in that anchor position now.
She is, and if I could be just a little bug in her ear, tell her to relax, slow down. She tends to get ahead of herself. More so on the uneven bars, but especially here, just get in a rhythm. Take your time. Quite lovely on this event. Like her mother, Joan Moore, was just beautiful on balance beam and floor exercise, an Olympian for the United States.
Back in 1972, and her father, Ray Knapp, was an All-American gymnast here at LSU.
She's doing a lovely job.
Gymnastics fans might remember that her sister, Jenna, was an All-American and national champion at Alabama.
Oh. Lost a little bit of toe point in that leap, but it saved the landing. She fought to keep her center of gravity right over the balance beam. Like the others, does her layout, her series at the end of the routine. Really shows great fitness, great composition. And she finishes with a double twist. Watch her open out. Arms go out. Boom! And a great landing. Good for her. What a beam rotation for this LSU team.
5 very solid routines. 6 very solid routines.
I love the concentration. Dee even got off the floor. Good for her.
That's what she's been looking for. Seems like LSU hitting on all cylinders tonight in front of a terrific home crowd of nearly 10,000 people. Alexis Demers had a 9-9 on floor for Auburn. So after the 9-3 from Abby Millay, they responded extremely well. And Caitlin Atkinson is comfortable in this anchor position and usually delivers a big score.
And a strong, powerful gymnast. She's going to need that on this tumbling pass. Beautiful execution on a full in, a little bit low chest on the landing, just a tiny, tiny deduction. Needs to show a little bit more split in that first leap. Her middle tumbling pass, it's a combination pass, 3 elements, and she should finish with a wolf jump. She didn't do it last week. I almost thought she was going out of bounds. Here comes right here, and she does it here very well. That's as well as she has done that pass in competition.
Here's a young lady that has set or owns a share of every record in Auburn gymnastics history.
Nice difficulty to end with the pike double back. Good routine.
So 5 excellent routines after the mistake in the first performance. There will be 5 good scores for Auburn on floor.
Worked hard on this. Had no movement of the feet. Chest was just a little bit down, but this was the best she's done this pass. Hits the nice position in the air in that wolf position.
All right, Laura is down with Coach Dee Bro.
Thanks, Bart. Coach, what is the key to the calm that your team shows on beam?
We had a pretty aggressive week in the gym, but this is the kind of beam that we see all the time. We did about half this good last week at Georgia, but the whole lineup just really calmed down and focused on the parts and what they needed to do.
You pushed them really hard this week. How did they need to finish?
Well, we pushed hard this week because there aren't many weeks that we can do this, going into SECs. We're at the halfway point, and we really felt like we needed to work on some landings and try to do some things better, and it showed tonight. So we're going to probably have another tough week next week and then ease back.
Thanks, Coach. Bart, that hard work is paying off.
Thank you, Laura and Dee. Okay, we're going to rotate to the fourth and final rotation. Auburn gained some ground in that rotation. And a 3/10 of a point behind the host, LSU Tigers. LSU has some of the most electric performers in NCAA gymnastics. We'll be seeing them on the floor when we come back. Auburn goes to the beam.
Last season we were so successful for such a long time, and it only kind of, I guess, sort of fell apart towards the end.
The wheel fell off the wagon a little bit. We had adversity that we didn't have to deal with all season long.
It was hard, definitely hard, but definitely has molded a lot of character.
Things that happened like last year, putting that in the past and just being able to move forward and be positive. And one of the main things that we focused on this year is really uniting as a team.
They have really rallied this year and talked about that together theme. So, that's behind us and we're moving forward.
And in her 39th season at LSU, she's the dean of coaches, the longest tenured coach in the SEC, and she's mic'd up tonight.
On three, let it out. 1, 2, 3. Ah! That's it. Now we crash them. Let's go. You get it in the air. You get it in the air. Trust yourself to be great. All right, Hambone. Nothing extra. Just normal you. Get it up in the air and let it settle down. Remember on that turn, nice tight core, but get that foot moving, okay? Beast mode or bar team hit? I'm feeling beast mode. 1, 2, 3. Beast mode!
It's a battle of the Tigers tonight. LSU has a lead of 3/10 of a point, largely on the will of Dee Bro. 39 years and she hasn't lost one bit of intensity. We'll go to the floor. LSU will be featured there, including Ashley Knapp. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. Boy, before the competition today, Kathy, you and I got a look at the Taj Mahal of gymnastics facilities. State of the art doesn't even do it justice. This is a $12 million facility that recently opened, dedicated to LSU gymnastics, and man, it makes me want to start working out again. That's impressive.
We were like two kids in a candy store walking through on our tour. Unbelievable is an understatement.
There are the scores by 3/10 of a point. LSU has the lead coming into the fourth and final rotation. As expected, this is going to be close. Auburn will have to go to the beam, and LSU will try to wrap it up on the floor. They are so far the highest running team score after 3 rotations of the season for LSU. Let's go down to Laura.
Guys, Cohen Lowick trained beam a lot last year, but she said she's really been able to focus in this year and do well consistently in competition on beam, but she said she concentrates so heavily that she has what her teammates call an angry face. Let's watch for it here and see if it looks angry to us. But she said that she's really been able to zone in. She doesn't hear anything when she's on the beam. Her only focus is on that beam.
Laura, we call it a beam face. It's like a poker face you put on your beam face. Concentrate. But you also want to see a little bit of relaxation in the face as well. You got to attack the landing, be aggressive, but calm at the same time.
I like what Coach Gravis says. He said she's an extremely smart young lady. She's an engineering student. kind of a brainiac. To coach, he said everything to her is a math problem. There's a lot of math and physics going on, keeping a gymnast on a 4-inch wide beam.
And she's done this one very, very nicely. That should add up to a pretty good score. So the angry face paid off. Lots of concentration went into that landing.
Tiger fans, it's floor time.
You heard the PA announcer, it's floor time, and there's about 10,000 people ready to check out this lineup. Sydney Ewing, the junior from Lafayette, will get the leadoff spot.
And you can tell these fans love this team on this event. Ashley Claire Kearney does all of the choreography and does a terrific job bringing out their personality with the music, the choreography, and the tumbling is there, front double twist. Beautiful floating layout, full twist, full punch layout.
I love what Coach Bro said to us last year. Now that they have this incredible facility, they get 10,000 people at a regular dual meet here at the PMAC. She said, yeah, things have changed a lot. We're no longer handing out tickets in front of Winn-Dixie. They got a big marketing machine and a great promotion for this well-deserved program. Looks like she might have stepped over the line.
We'll have to see. I didn't see a hand go up. You can step on the line. You cannot step over the line. It was really close. Let's see what we see here. A lot of power on this final tumbling run.
Keep in mind, these teams are separated by just 0.3 of a point. It's hard to tell if her heel touched outside the tape.
It looks like she was over, but she might not have put the heel all the way down. So if she didn't put it all the way down, then it wouldn't have been out.
Samantha Serio, second to go for Auburn. Helen Lowick had a 9.8 in the leadoff role.
Was very steady last week when there was a lot of pressure on every performer. They didn't look perfectly sure on the event last week, but they had their best beam performance as a team. Much better on that leap sequence there. This is actually her best routine so far. Punch front with a full and a great landing. Well done. Much calmer than she was last week. She's really settling in nicely into the lineup.
Coach Graber said he didn't want to put too much pressure on these freshmen so early. Mary McDaniel is now the coach responsible for working with the beam performers since Jenny Rowland, who was formerly the associate head coach, left Auburn and went to take the head coaching job at Florida.
And Mary came from University of Kentucky, where she done great work with their balance beam on the coach side.
There's a coaching carousel in gymnastics too, not just football and basketball. 9.85 was the score for Sydney Ewing. Maya Hambrick now.
Watch the lift on her first tumbling pass, a double layout. Beautiful. Very nice stretched position. Lovely in the air. 2.5 twist punch front, already showing so much more difficulty. They really like showing off their level of fitness with these floor routines. Very high energy. They don't do much standing around or walking around in the corner. They get to the corner, turn around and go.
It's great to talk to Ashley Kearney before the meet. She's a lawyer here in town, but she's so proud of working with these young ladies as a volunteer coach on floor choreography.
Ooh, gave just a little bit on that landing. Knees buckled ever so slightly. Really love the lift on this first tumbling run into the double layup, and then watch how she even flares. Shows a little style in the air. Perfectly straight body in that second somersault. 2.5 twist into the punch front. A lot of the other gymnasts are just doing a 1.5 twist there, so showing more difficulty. Ends with a pike double. Had to bend her knees a little bit in the somersault, and then a little funky on the landing.
Freshman Taylor Krippner set to go. Samantha Serio, freshman who went just before her, is season high 9.875. So Auburn has a 9.8 and a 9.875 so far on beam.
She struggled a little bit with inconsistency on this event. And it's because they've really tried to find the right routine for her. So they switched her routine and then switched it back in the hopes she'll settle in and have more success with this routine.
She fell. She was the only mistake they had against Alabama last week, had a 9.175. They said she's really a great beam worker. They just need to rebuild her confidence.
This is what they added. Aerial walk up to the back handspring. Once she hits that, that fulfills her series. So they took up the back handspring layout. And she's just going to show off the split jumps. Is a round off 1.5 twist. Had to lift that foot up. They will deduct for that, but a nice job hitting the routine. This one seems to suit her much better.
3 hit routines for Auburn on the beam and an away meet. How about this? This is McKenna Kelly. By the way, Maya Hambrick had a 9.9 before her, a career high. McKenna Kelly is a freshman from Houston. She happens to be one of 4 daughters of Olympian Mary Lou Retton and her husband Shannon Kelly, who was a quarterback at the University of Texas. So I remember meeting her when she was about 6 years old, and I said, wow, look at your muscles in your arms. She goes, no, look at my calves.
Our teammate's baby. Can't believe it.
Good to see her here, a freshman at LSU. And Coach Bro says when she gets it all together, she's going to be very good.
Wait till you see the power, and of course, you know where it came from. She can really get off the ground, and she's learning to control the landing and control her power. Double layout. Good control on that leap pass.
Apparently she messed that up last week, and Dee Dee Bro was not happy about it. She said she has a foot issue, and that led to a botched leap series.
Tuck double back. All right, good for her. I think she had some fun, too. A little reminiscent of Lamencia Hall, who competed for LSU, did that little bounce. This is a fun routine. Double layouts. Good height. Jay Clark was happy with the landing.
Dee Bro has been expecting greatness from her team. She's seen it in bits and pieces, but it's all coming together tonight for LSU. Lexis Demers will be on the beam. Taylor Krippner a 9.75.
And Auburn's doing a job over here on Balance Beam. This is one of their better beam rotations so far.
Just 0.3 of a point behind LSU coming into this last rotation.
Nice to see the concentration and focus here. Aerial cartwheels right to the dismount. Well done. They're doing a terrific job. Much better even than last week.
Coach Grabus said that's a short, hittable routine and can score well. Well designed. Four solid routines for Auburn on the beam. Their scores range there from 9.75 to 9.875. McKenna Kelly gets a career-high 9.925. So a shout-out to Mary Lou Retton and Shannon Kelly, who are not here tonight, but we look forward to seeing them later on in the season. They're with their other daughter at a tumbling competition at Baylor University.
And Bart, it is so great to see Jessica Savona here back in the lineup on the floor. She was injured early in the season. They all cheered for her when she warmed up her tumbling passes. And she had a huge smile on her face when she landed this pass right here in the warm-ups. 1.5 twist to a tuck double back. This Tiger can tumble, let me tell you. And she comes back with a pass that many other gymnasts open their routine with. Full in. Now this will be the big test, final tumbling run. See if she's got the gas to go for this. She sure has the power and the talent. Ends with a pike double back. Not a problem at all. What a great first routine back for this young lady, and so happy for her. Look at her teammates.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's it! Yeah! Woo!
Who wouldn't have energy on this team?
Nobody's having more fun tonight than Dee Bro.
Powered by Dee.
Take it away, Laura.
Bart, part of the success for Auburn's beam rotation could be thanks to Gerald, their giraffe mascot. Not to be confused with Gerald. They're very specific. It's Gerald. They got him at a local restaurant in Auburn, and they just had to have him. They take him everywhere with them, and he is their team mascot. I think Gerald might need a Twitter account if Kathy wants to get that going.
Boy, I'd hate to leave him on an airplane somewhere. They're a good luck charm. Well, they're doing a great job so far. Abby Millay, and see if she can recover from that missed landing on floor exercise. Scored only a 9.3, but a solid beam rotation with 2 season high scores for Sam Sirio and Lexis Demers, both having 9.875s.
It's actually nice to see them sort of playing add-on here on beam, which is what they did last week on the uneven bars, each one-upping each other. It's really what you want to do in a lineup. Build, both in confidence, momentum. A little bit of a concentration break there. Setting up for the dismount cat leap into the gainer full. Very nicely done for this team on beam.
Talk about the night that LSU is having. Let's go back to Florida. This is Randy Wyrick. Jessica Savona before her 9.95. That's the third consecutive career high on this rotation for LSU on the floor. Hambrick, Kelly, and Savona all with 9.9 plus career highs.
Next on floor for LSU, Randy Wyrick.
Ooh, look at those scores. Great performance. This is truly the breakout meet I thought they could have.
Coach Stevie Bro says she thinks this routine is underappreciated by the judges. Let's see what Randy Wyrick can do in its 5th spot.
Path. Oh, nice 3-element series there. Bounding combination pass. Much cleaner on those jumps with those ankles heavily taped. You really have to work extra hard for the toe point. Nice finish to a terrific routine, and a face says it all. He's definitely going to be happy with this one.
Randy Wyrick for the Tigers. Ladies and gentlemen, the score on the floor for your Tigers.
LSU having a best team performance of the season night. 9.95. They announced the score for Jessica Savona. Abby Malaya, nice job there. Some good scores for Auburn on the beat, but LSU is just having one of those magical nights. Caitlin Atkinson will be the final performer for Auburn here.
Concentration quite nicely with the energy in this arena all focused on floor exercise and the dynamic routines that their Lady Tigers are coming up with. It's the dynamics of competition, though, in gymnastics. You're always on the balance beam when the other team is performing on the floor exercise.
See the running score there at the bottom. Auburn already has a 197, so a 197 away score is always good.
Very, very solid on this event. Their best of the season so far. 6 for 6. They finally did it.
So it has been a strong night for Auburn coming off that epic victory against Alabama last week. But it has been a spectacular night for LSU as we get set now to see one of the highlights of the night, typically. Ashley Natt, the junior out of Lake Mary, Florida. They call her Bugs. She's a 5-time All-American, and she's just flat out fun to watch on this event.
I swear she must plug herself in every night to recharge. She has more energy. And I asked somebody, does she ever run out of it? And they said, absolutely not, never.
Randy Wyrick before her, by the way, 9.925. That's the 4th career high in a row for LSU on the floor. What a night.
Turn her on and let her go. Beautiful control on the landing as well.
Okay, you can see at the bottom of your screen, the score is in for Caitlin Atkinson, 9.875.
Beautiful 2.5 twist to a punch front. Again, their level of difficulty is really paying dividends tonight with their score. It pays off when you hit it.
And get this, folks, even without Ashley Nat's score, LSU's going to win at 197.675, and they can even go higher because this score, if it is higher, will replace a lower score.
Supercharge your team in. That's the control you want to see on the landing. Well done. When you can land and not move and just control into the lunge, that's the way to finish a routine with a punctuation mark.
The Roar Zone is on their feet. Nearly 10,000 people here at the PMAC. They want to see a 10. LSU with a lead over a half a point. And this is icing on the cake.
She had great tumbling throughout the whole meet. Fantastic landings. Great difficulty. Look at this, 2.5 twists. And look at that.
Oh no!
A 10-0.
The 10 comes in. How about that? She's gotten 2 10s on vault. The only gymnast this year to get 2 10s, and now she has 3. Wow, what a night for the LSU Tigers. Finally hitting on all cylinders. What a thrilling night at the PMAC. LSU, the 6th-ranked team in the country, finishes with a spectacular 49-7 on the floor, and their 197.825 is the 3rd highest score in the country this year.